Hello, I am Mac, at least for a day, and everything's going to be okay. Today we got a very exciting announcement. Sean Murray tweeted and let us know that the next big update for No Man's Sky is coming out next week, the week of Halloween. And he let us know that the update is going to be titled, that's why we know it's the next big update. The title is The Abyss. No Man's Sky, The Abyss. So I'm going to read part of the message he uploaded onto their website. I'm not going to read the first part. The first part just kind of tells us that the No Man's Sky Next update launched a couple months ago, and he kind of went through a few of the bigger update changes they've done since then, like the Pilgrim exocraft and letting us change our body shape and stuff like that. But then he goes on to say, whilst most of the team have been busy on weekly updates, a handful have been working on something else. Our first titled update since Next. A new free update is releasing next week for all players. We've called it The Abyss because it focuses on some of the eerier elements of No Man's Sky, in keeping with the theme of this season. This is another small step on a longer journey for us. Thank you for joining us. Thanks so much, Sean. Now, there's not a lot of information there. There's mostly just the title, and he mentions that it focuses on the eerier aspects of No Man's Sky. But I'm going to try to speculate a bit on what's going to be in this update. Now, first of all, I don't think they're going to be regenerating the universe in this update. They did the big universe reset in the next update, and just seems too soon to do that. They just barely allowed us to create an almost unlimited number of bases, and if they were to regenerate the universe, they would have to, I don't know, archive all of our bases, or we would just lose the bases. I don't think they're going to do that this soon since the next update. So, since it's titled The Abyss, some people, of course, are speculating that it's going to be related to the ocean. The Abyss was a sci-fi movie from like the 80s, I think, that was about people that were under the ocean and there were weird beings or something. I haven't seen it, but so some people are thinking that it has something to do with water. However, they can't change things in the ocean without regenerating the universe. And like I said, I don't think there's going to be a universe reset. So I don't think at this time the Abyss is going to be the ocean update. A lot of people have been wanting them to improve oceans, and Hello Games even mentioned that they have plans to improve oceans in No Man's Sky. But I don't think that's what they're going to do in this update. And plus, Sean didn't say anything about ocean in his message. He just said it focuses on eerier aspects. So what I'm predicting is that this is going to be a storyline update. Of course, I've been predicting that since Next, that I think after Next that they would focus on storyline, because I was thinking that Next would have some storyline in it, but it didn't. Next was just a big overhaul to all planets. It added true multiplayer, added character models, added frigates, and stuff like that. But it didn't add any new storyline. Just a little bit of lore with the base computer archives, but nothing storyline related. And the Abyss has been mentioned in lore, which I'll get to in a little bit. So already the Abyss, and I think there's actually some references to the Abyss, at least indirectly, in the more recent community events. Community events that we've been having have been kind of storyline driven, sort of, especially the most recent one. The most recent community event you can watch my video of it on the channel, but it was kind of a choose your own adventure where you could make different choices and you would get different storyline results. And in a couple of the results I got, it talked about drinking the water, and that has been a reference in other lore in the game. I believe it's in like manufacturing facilities or crashed freighter lore. People talk about, like, you know, crash landing on a planet. It's in both. There's a crashed freighter lore that talks about drinking the water, like the crew of a crashed freighter drank the water and went crazy. And then in a manufacturing facility lore, it talks about that there had been research on something called the Abyss, and that it was like water underneath the world or something like that. And I don't know if it means literal water or if it's some kind of metaphorical, like ocean of darkness or something. I don't know. But all of that, all of this Abyss stuff being in the lore makes me think this is going to be a storyline driven update. Now we don't know that for sure, but I do think it's probably going to involve the biological horrors. Those have been added recently to the abandoned buildings. And abandoned buildings were the original creepy lore that we got when the game first came out. That was the only lore we had that had kind of a creepiness to it. People going crazy, seeing horrific monsters, having some kind of event in which they were trapped in some kind of space-time warp or whatever, which has been a recurring theme since then in Atlas Rise's storyline, in, like I said, freighter lore, new manufacturing facility lore, boundary failure lore on exotic planets. There's been a recurring theme of people being trapped, killed, going insane, etc., etc. And obviously that is the eerier side of the game that Sean is referring to, that this update is going to concentrate on. So I think this update is going to be lore-driven and or storyline-driven. I do not think it will regenerate the universe. So we're not going to get... I don't think we're going to get a submarine. I could be wrong. They could add a submarine without regenerating the universe, but they couldn't change oceans to make them better. So adding a submarine would be kind of pointless, and I went into the water to kind of show you that there's really not much of anything to oceans currently. It's just a lot of seaweed and rocks and the occasional fish to scan. There's really nothing to oceans in No Man's Sky right now. So obviously I think they will improve oceans eventually, but I don't think they will at this time. I think the Abyss update is going to be storyline about biological horrors, abandoned buildings, lost travelers, things like that. And they're not going to regenerate the universe yet. I don't think they've had enough time to really design a whole overhaul to planet generation and such. But anyway, that's my prediction. You're welcome to disagree with me, and of course we'll see next week. Now, other issue I'd like to address is when exactly the update will drop. Sean just said next week. Typically updates are on Tuesdays or Thursdays, and that works kind of well. We've also gotten updates a lot lately on Friday. But Wednesday is Halloween, I believe. So I'm guessing they'll try to do the update either right before Halloween or right after. So I'm predicting either Tuesday or Thursday is when the update will be. But we'll just have to wait and see. So, anyways, that's about it. I just wanted to announce that we're getting a big update next week, and that I'm predicting it will be storyline driven, and that it will not regenerate the universe. They can do a lot with the game without regenerating the universe. They just can't change planet surfaces. So anytime they change terrain, shape, or change creatures, change plant or rock assets, the entire universe changes. All of the planets change, and our bases get messed up. But there is a lot that they can change in the game without doing that. As we've seen in the updates since Next, we've gotten base building parts. They can add things like that. They can change things in space stations. Any pre-baked asset like a space station, the Atlas station, space anomalies, those things can be changed because they're not involved in planet generation. But changing anything like the oceans that would change planet generations would completely regenerate the entire universe. So they probably won't do that, but they can change. They can change space station, space anomaly. Maybe our freighters, because freighter interiors are kind of a pre-baked asset. Although that might mess up our freighter bases. I don't know. But, yeah. But anyway, that's just my prediction. Storyline. The Abyss update will be storyline and not change the world, change the universe very much. But, anyway, that's it. And I will see you all this weekend. I don't know if we're going to get a community event this week. Since Sean announced the update, it doesn't seem likely that we're going to have a community event also, although I could be wrong. So we may not get an update this week, we'll get it next week. It'll be a big update. And it's kind of odd though, because I'd been predicting that the next big update would be after the community events ended, but we still have 2 community events left. We just did community event 6 of 8, so we still have 7 of 8 and 8 of 8. So either they've decided to call the community events short, or the last 2 community events are going to be part of the Abyss, like after the Abyss update happens. I don't know. But whatever. Anyway, and I will see you all this weekend on Saturday, regardless of whether there's an update or not, because the Spacing Guild, me and the Spacing Guild are going to be having our Halloween party, which I kind of announced in another video. But the morning of Saturday morning, I will do a video showing the portal address of the Halloween planet, so anyone can come, anyone on PS4 in No Man's Sky can come, and we can have a Halloween party. And it's timed perfectly because it's a party right before we get a major update that following week. So I'll see you all for the Halloween party, and then we'll have our Halloween update, The Abyss. So, I've been Mac. Thank you for joining me for a day. And remember, everything is going to be okay.